Hello.
Hello. This is awesome. This is such a great team.
Yeah,
This is so cool.
sounds
I look forward to this so much, like more than any other interview I do. Don't spread that around, but yeah,
good. Well, it's
yeah.
gonna be live on YouTube, so
Oh, very cool.
but um looks like your mic is off, Lizzie.
Yeah, sorry. I was just finishing my lunch. I'm eating between stuff because that's apparently the only time I get to eat.
It's so cool. What's that called when you have that sound thing going and people just listen to the sound? I was fascinated by that. That they just hear like paper being torn or someone chewing or something. I don't know.
Oh God, no, let's
I
not
can't
do
believe
that.
I can't believe that took off. I can't like what's the traction? Anyway, yeah, but ready.
All right. Well, let's do the quick introductions. We've got Tom Outhouse, writer of the Immortals screenplay, which was stolen to create Matrix 1, 2, 3. And ironically, they give him credit as a writer for number 4.
The one I don't want.
So, and then we've got Elizabeth Dove, who goes by Madam Punisher on Twitter, sister of the Punisher, incredible researcher, just a juggernaut in the truth movement. Both of them are, and it's been just such an honor to have you join us. Quick pitch for my business. I am a Medicare broker here in Arizona, cover almost all the plans all over the state. If you want to get in contact with me, comment on this video or follow me at Real Joe Roselle on Twitter. I will follow back any account that is legit, and I'll help get anyone you know set up with their Medicare. But yeah, usually we do these every 2 weeks, sometimes even every 3. But jumping off on the last one, we did a whole speech about Neurolink, what they're going to try and do, and what like the ramifications and the bad parts of it. And then 4 days later, Elon Musk releases that they're going to begin human trials on Neuralink. So I thought we should get together this week and kind of go over all that.
Well, specifically, we were talking about how they would use it in people, and we said, they're going to find a paraplegic and they're going to put it in and they're going to make it sound all great and everything. I mean, we were using the movie Upgrade as the example, which is the exact storyline, and and then 3 days later, oh boom, here's this news article. They're going to put Neuralink in a paraplegic and make him walk again.
Yep. It's like Simon Says. We say, Lizzie, Joe, and Tom says something and they do it. Yeah. Simon Says.
Yeah, it's exact. I read the Neuralink article where they're looking for volunteers, and it's people with ALS, people with. Oh my God! Exactly what we were talking about.
So, that's right. Yeah. He wants to jump off the cliff. Yeah.
Yeah, and like this was the storyline to a movie. I mean, it was the whole plot of a movie. Guy gets injured in an attack, becomes a paraplegic. They put this chip in him. He can walk again.
Yep. And then what's that one with the redheaded lady that's so popular? It's all the Marvel movies and stuff. I forget her name now.
Oh,
the one that does, she does soft porn and stuff like that, but she's like so popular, and she plays that one where she's being machine parts in her and stuff like that. And I forget this latest movie, Marvel thing, I think it is. But yeah,
I don't know. I stopped watching Marvel.
Yeah, she doesn't deserve her name. She doesn't deserve her name anyway, so, okay.
No, seriously, it was like it became woke, and then the storylines just weren't as good as the original comics.
And look what happened to Disney and Target with that stuff. And they were so proud of themselves. It's like they're so out of touch with reality. They throw delusional. I think they're delusional. So it's like, it's just to get on those bandwagons.
Oh, insane. Yeah. No, I was doing it. They brought that lady that was basically said she set up a scam to try and create racial issues. Now they bring her on as a spokesperson. So just keep doing this woke stuff, and they're going to learn their lesson. But
it's hilarious. If woke was as mainstream as they claim it to be, then these movies would be doing a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what was that one with Disney where they're like, slaves built this country, slaves? But I'm sure parents love to take their children to see that. You know, it's like slave anger. Yeah, sure. It's like,
Yeah.
this is a great Disney movie. Oh my God, sign us up.
And
The
I-
pieces
we
of
do
it,
have to come up with a different word besides woke, because that was, my wife gets really mad about that, because that was stolen from Black culture to mean like actually woke to what's going on and like realizing everything, and
Mhm.
mainstream has stolen the word woke to mean what it does now, and like there's so many weird things that happen that culture just takes over stuff. So,
yeah, they literally rewrite the definitions for things.
Yeah.
And in this case, yeah, you're right, because woke used to be like you were the next Malcolm X, or which
Yeah.
it literally meant something a whole lot different than what our culture thinks it is now.
Yeah. It's like
Um,
whacked out, kaput, empty. I don't know. It's just like
yeah,
gone.
you're
Yeah.
just dumb.
Yeah.
Um,
And something came to me too was just before we got on here, I was so excited to come on. It was just a positive flow with everything going on. And I thought about how what really Disney doesn't understand, as I talk to Disney execs and stuff back and forth, it's
mhm.
like what they don't understand is the power of being good, just being a good person. It's like what happens, and since they watch what we do, I'll say it out here for them again. Wherever we go, we create an atmosphere or an universe. Wherever we go, whatever room we enter, whatever place we enter, whatever country we enter, we carry with us that goodness, and that goodness forms that environment. It affects anybody around us, and it's so cool to have people that actually are like that working together. And it attracts like. And so that's what they understand, is the feeling of it is amazing. And they're trying to preach that everybody's dark. Everybody's dark in their core. Nah, because you won't have this feeling if you were. You have to know that there's no doubt we carry goodness. We love people. We love life. We love others. We love animals. We just love being in this plane of existence. So,
and the crazy thing that's been happening to me, I don't know if it's happening to you two as well, but in the last maybe 6, 8 months, I have run into so many more people that are aware of what's going on, are aware of the
yes.
agenda, the
Yes.
spreading the message of truth. It's like the more energy that I grow inside of me, the more it attracts other people that are carrying the same type of energy, and the connections are there, and the word is spreading at an underground level a
Well,
lot more than mainstream.
don't you think that's I guess due also to mainstream media at this point, because they
Mhm.
are having to admit to certain truths that we have
Mhm.
been telling for years.
Yes.
That's
There
exactly.
is no hiding behind it. When CNN gets up there and they're like, well, they might have been right about this.
Yeah, the curtain's ripped. It's ripped. And what's so funny is, like, I even thought about Washington, D.C., right? Washington, D.C., which Wachowski's put capital city for Washington, D.C., which we had in our screenplay. And you have all these buildings in Washington, D.C. from our founding fathers and mothers that are Greco-Roman, right? I mean, it's Greco-Roman architecture. And
Yeah.
then there's the Pentagon. And it's like, okay, where'd that come from? Salem? It's like, it's just really interesting.
Oh,
Yeah.
the whole architecture. Oh, that's such a conspiracy theory and deep dive. I mean, like, if you're in a history, yeah, go
Yeah,
look it up.
yeah. Well, you can just show me the money. Show me the money. What's on the
Yeah.
money? The triangle with the eye looking at you. It's like, God help us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on the $1 bill, it has the Latin for New World Order, or something close to that.
I didn't know that.
Well, yeah.
It truly, it says
Well, I don't have a one.
That's so bizarre.
It's
It's all
like
coming
right
together.
underneath the pyramid with the all-seeing eye. There's
E pluribus unit, whatever it is. E
Yeah.
pluribus.
it's like Latin for New World Order.
Oh my God. And then what did the guy who is my main benefactor in the cabal, like the ones that are supposed to stab you and the ones that are supposed to make offers, the main one that's supposed to make the huge offers connected to Disney, Warner Bros. And agencies is the one that says I'm supposed to refer to him as friend in Latin. He never gave me his name. I'm supposed to, whenever he calls, he says, refer to him as the Latin for friend. And I think it's like Acurum or something. So it's like, again, Latin. And then we have the wonderful Catholic Church. So yeah.
Well, that's so weird. And every movie, you have these like every movie that has like these little satanic plot lines, and they do these satanic rituals. What are they speaking?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Like in what was that one with God help us all. There was the one with the Firm, I think it's Firm. What was the one with what's his name is
Oh,
saying
oh,
blah, 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 blah. They have the lady strip in front of the character and it's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I think it was a Firm or what, but it was like,
the
yeah,
one with the
he's
lawyer.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And he just keeps going on and on and on. Like it was the guy from Dog Days or whatever it was way
yeah,
back.
Al Pacino.
Yes, yes. He did a good job in the role, I'll give him that, but it looked like he was quite at home with it. So yeah.
Advocate, you mean?
What?
Was that Devil's Advocate?
Yeah, it was
Yes.
Devil's Advocate. Yes,
Okay,
thank
yeah.
Yes. And what happens in all these films from Firm, Devil's Advocate? The home relationship is ruined. They always ruin your home relationship. They have to destabilize that and destroy it and then turn you on each other. And it's like, that's what happens. They destroy it. Total Recall, they plant the wife on you, or the man can be planted on the wife. It's like, that's how they play their game. And it's like, it's all, like you said, Lizzie, it's all coming out now. It's all being revealed from everything from Hitler, hunting Hitler, the documentary now, there's all like the CIA knew, to sticking with stuff that's not necessary that Bill Gates came up with in China. And then the whole thing with Ukraine and how the State Department and the Pentagon and the FBI was involved in destabilizing Ukraine. And they did biolabs and we're trying to tweak the nose of Putin. Now Putin and the Chinese are basically the good guys, revealing that we're the ones doing the harm.
Right.
Wow, we're on the wrong side of the fence.
Well, the whole family destruction started, I'm sure it started before, but it really started with the feminist wave when that first came out. I think it was the Rockefellers or one of them said we sponsored the feminist wave not only to break up the family, but also because if you get two household workers working, then we can tax them both, you know?
Yeah.
So,
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious because, you know, you look at all these documents that they're like, oh, it's just conspiracy theory.
Yeah, like seriously.
You know, it literally like the Toronto protocols specifically lays out how they destroy the family home. And it's not only that, they destroy every good relationship and connection you have with others and basically isolate you.
Buy them off, isolate. You're absolutely right. And what's their plan? Like, what they mock like their sexual harassment all the time for ladies still. And what they do is they try to they actually just put the lady subjected using scriptures often, the religious right does, saying they're supposed to be submissive to their husband. What? And then what happens is they make this movement where women are masculized, but they're actually most afraid of divine feminine. They're most afraid of women who are, you know, proud to be women, that are holding their own and are strong and savvy and powerful. And it's like, women are actually stronger than men biologically. And so men are so afraid of women in their own divine feminine and their power. That's what scares the trash out of the cabal. They really do.
Know,
that's right.
It's hilarious you bring this up because number one, I heard this week that there's a new thing going around that the word Mrs. Like you call somebody Mrs. MRS, right? And that it means that they're translating it to prostitute for your husband.
Oh my God.
I know.
So, oh my God. That's what the state does, doesn't it? To satisfy the man's needs, not the woman, the man's needs. So he's peaceful and a good representative of the state, a good subject of the state.
They've destroyed that image. You know, it's a partnership.
Yes. Yes.
It is absolutely a partnership. And, you know, if you have I wouldn't know because my one marriage was horrid. But I can imagine if you have a relationship with somebody, it's a partnership. You know, you support them, they support you. You both have a role to play in that.
Yes.
It is not one person over the other. It is a unity.
Yes, and they're afraid of power couples. Power couples that blend so nicely together is what they're scared to death of. So every woman that came to me would be approached about 2 weeks later by anonymouses, people that said they didn't want to be known. They didn't know them. They're saying, don't hang with Tom, he's dangerously evil. They're so afraid of the right matches happening organically. And then they provide your own wife or your own husband. They provide the person as if they're casting a show. And that person then is going to hold you. What the honeypot wife, the one tell me, what would she say? She was saying something about, I want other women to see me with you, that they know that you're with me. And it's like, until she was done her job. Then I found a journal entry she was laying out that said when at a certain time she was going to leave me and her job would be done. And that's exactly when Mike Lang and Disney came in. It's like, what? On my birthday, July 2nd.
Wow.
Yeah, back to Mike Lang and Disney. So that's what they do. They want to own you and control you with these people planted. So Aiden and I missed out on a really good relationship because we fell for this trick. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's oh, God.
Yeah. And meanwhile, the
They
right women are coming to me saying, they were saying, like, I just passed you. I feel like we're supposed to be together. And I was being loyal to the honeypot wife. So I was turning down the people that were right. And the state, what is this marriage thing in the state? What, it's a contract? The state gives us a contract. Describe that. What is marriage? A contract by the state so the man is satisfied, so he'll be a good citizen, and the woman is subject to him? I mean,
I don't know. I don't get it.
I'm lost on it.
I mean, seriously, and I'm being very honest. I've already had this conversation with myself. It's like, if I get married again, I really don't care if the state recognizes it or not.
Yeah.
No, no.
The only person that matters in that is God.
Yes. Yeah.
If I need to do it legally, I'll go down to the courthouse. It's not a big deal. But I'm getting married by a minister, and it, like, the wedding, the ceremony, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Wouldn't it be cool if there was a place on earth where you go ahead? Sorry, finish, Lizzie.
The whole thing is that vow, and that's that promise,
Mhm.
and that's what matters.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if we actually had a place, different places on this planet, where it was just considered beautiful, special, where people could go together and form a couple at that in front of God, in sight of God, like a natural cathedral
Yeah.
of nature. Wouldn't that be cool?
They need to take the government benefits and everything out of marriage. They need to stop
Controlling it.
Yeah, the government needs to get their hands out of the whole thing, because it's not supposed to be a government sanctioned thing. It's supposed to be a promise between you, your partner, and God.
That's right.
Yeah.
Get rid of the enticements and the penalties. What's that have to do?
Get rid of the institution behind it. I mean,
yes.
I'm not saying the institution of marriage, because there is a promise between a man and a woman. I'm saying the government institution that basically makes it this cold thing on a piece of paper. That's not what it's about. It's between two people. It's a relationship.
Wow, this is gelling. Yeah, go ahead.
Government has nothing to do with it.
There needs to be better. Let's just change it all up. I've asked this to people out there. Let's just change it all up. Instead of a ring on the finger, let's get rid of everything the government said and the state said. That goes back to like Henry VIII and back to the institutions of medieval times. Let's make it so that there's a new symbol that's just, a love between man and woman, or they create it. It's maybe a necklace or something. Maybe it's a mark we put on ourselves that just we're bonding with each other, or a little string around the wrist. Who knows? I would love to have something different that says, I am anti-controlled relationship, and this is something sacred between me and her, and we're going to hold to this in our terms.
Yep. Not the government.
I mean, the whole idea behind the marriage ring in itself, the diamond industry, first of all, they're doing blood diamonds, killing people for all these diamonds, trying to make them seem so limited and so exclusive. And then they mark up the whole thing and then tell people they got to pay 2 months salary for this little ring. That it was just a scam from the beginning.
No, let's not do that. I mean, because that I mean, that does have a historical reference, and that goes back to when women used to wear their wealth. They literally did. But let's just erase all that, because that's not. And God, I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird. Maybe I'm just unique. But if some guy comes to me with a diamond ring, it's an automatic no, because then obviously they don't know me.
Right. It sounds like a purchase, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I shouldn't admit this on YouTube, but I'm going to. When I proposed to my wife, I actually had her dad was big in the copper industry. He was a tax advisor for Phelps Dodge.
Yeah.
And then we always had our own little love symbol. So I had her a ring customized out of copper and rose quartz instead of using a diamond. Just it didn't work out well because the copper actually turns the fingers green. I didn't know that, but just the idea that, like, let's not do this whole gold and diamond thing, because it's not about that. It's about the promise we're making to each other.
Yeah. So. No, I love that though. Even though I turned her finger green, I love that. You had something unique.
Yeah. Yeah, the
That's
ring
really wild.
didn't tell me about the green finger issue.
That's so wild. We've been looking at Game of Thrones lately, like studying it, because we were told now, of course, J.R.R. Martin was under hire, as we said, for HBO and Warner Brothers when they wrote it. A team of writers wrote that Fire and Ice novel, and then they used it as their story. And then you look at the Game of Thrones, there's tons of directors thrown in there because they're all ripping it off together. And in it, they stuck all the stuff that pertained to this author. And I'm not kidding you. And I could go on and on, including my birthmark, like I said, flashed on the screen with a night of flowers. He shows my exact birthmark on my left thigh, lifted so you can see it when he's nude there. So I'm going to be taking a picture of, discreetly, birthmark with the birthmark. And what's interesting is why I'm saying this is they also address marriage. In it, you do not have the standard marriage, do you? In the Game of Thrones, you have where they put their hands out and they're wrapped with a cord and you cloak the bride. And then what happens is they say these words. And it was really kind of cool. I'll give them on that one. That's those scenes where the marriages happen because it's different than the state is dictated. And so it led me to think like it'd be nice to have a different form that people can choose, how they want to bind with each other or be freed with each other. It shouldn't be bound. It should be freed with each other. But anyway.
Yeah. My wife watched that show pretty religiously, and I watched it too. I kind of got into it, but there's just so much degeneracy that it was kind of.
They do preach it. They do preach that. Okay, can I throw some things at you real quick, guys? Ready for this? Okay. Do you remember the three-eyed raven, Game of Thrones? Do you know why there's a three-eyed raven? Because Sophia Stewart wrote the third eye.
Oh.
So they're mocking in there. The reason they have Axel, which is the uncle who's burned to the stake, right? Oh, yeah. The princess's uncle is burned at the stake. Because Axel was from Disney at the Williamsburg Inn when I was at the Rockefellers. Axel came in as a general manager and was promoting me. Axel. Oh. Yeah, it's his name, Axel.
So it was like a symbolic killing.
It lines up. Absolutely right. Yeah, it was symbolic because he was being taken down by Hillary Clinton and Robertson's faction under Jody Stevens was her name, who worked for the Clintons directly at the White House. And so she was taking down Axel from Disney and trying to stop him from promoting me. It's all there. In fact, the main character's name is what was it? The two brother and sister that are incestuous, Cersei, right? Yeah, right. And what's the other guy's name? Jamie. Okay, so let's look at that. My sister was incestuous. Yes. And what is she? Redhead. We call her the redheaded queen. What does she do? She tears up papers all the time, my documents and stuff. Any kind of diagnosis, she tears it up. That's her. So they stuck it in there. Then they have Jamie. Jim is the main character that represents me in the Immortals. And I can go on and on, but besides birthmark, there was much, much more. Tommen is the king that dies, the boy king that dies because he couldn't stand his loved ones being killed. And so he commits suicide off the ledge, which is what we put in the Dream movie. Anyway, it goes on and on and on. So it's like, and as far as the third eye, my brother wrote it. It becomes a novel series called Second Sight. And so that's why they have the three-eyed raven. Then you had Library of Memories, the Jackson Net, everything. It's like all of it's there. So now we're researching and seeing all this stuff and writing it all up. And I'm absolutely just blown away by what I'm finding in there throughout it, which is just stab. But it actually made a good series in a way, but it keeps promoting, as you said, Joe, negative, nasty kind of everyone's dark philosophies. Well, if you're too good, you'll lose. Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because, Punisher did this thread on 9/11. And I mean, this thing went viral, 5 million views.
Wow.
But it was like 25 posts. It was a thread. And over 13 hours worth of video. And one of those posts was about the predictions prior to 9/11. And the amount of information, I mean, everything from like Back to the Future to, I mean, like, it was wild. You watch that and you're like, no, they're not predicting 9/11. But then you see this overwhelming references made everywhere.
Yeah, to bring that full circle, it was predicted in The Matrix. When they released the Matrix movie in '99, they had on Neo's passport or his license, they had September 11, 2001 printed right in his license.
And you know why they did that, right? Do you know why they did that? Because it's in the original piece. And the original piece is a false flag in the original work, where the CIA is the Smiths agencies. This agencies is actually CIA that Smith's part of, top head guy. And so in this, it talks about a false flag where a hospital is being blown up, so that and the one character wants to brag about it, named Dooley. And so Wachowski's stuck 9/11 in because it was common knowledge from the agencies and Hollywood that it was going to happen. So they wanted to brag about it, so they stuck it in after all my personal information, high school birthday, fiance's birthday, all that stuff. So that's why they stuck it in there. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, they knew. They said it was common knowledge it was going to happen. And you're right, it's in all these different films. So,
but we're fighting other stuff like that. I mean, like COVID was predicted.
Oh, yes. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Their plans, they leak it out because they brag, they boast. And that's what's so funny about that entertainment funding for Maui. Did we talk about that? The entertainment fund, the EIF. Did we talk about that?
No, let's go ahead and get into it a little bit.
Okay. All right. Let me see if I can find it up real quick. Keep talking and I'll see if I can locate this.
But
Well,
yeah,
one of the
go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
No, with the Maui thing, all the blue roofs and everything, that
Right.
when you see DEWs, I won't say the real name because I don't want this to get pulled either, but the DEWs don't react with the color blue, which is why you see all these major billionaires or whatever all coloring their roof blue.
Yep.
All right.
So,
Very good. Yeah. Go ahead.
So one of the things I saw was this last week, and it was a really good explanation, is that these people are humanists. You know, they're basically it's Satanism. I mean, when you get to the core of it. And I mean Satanism as in they're atheists and they believe that they can become gods, but they believe in karma. Okay. And they're like, it's okay if they do these acts as long as they tell you about it beforehand, because then they won't have the karmic repercussions from them.
Yes. Well said. Well said. Yes.
Thank you. And that actually made sense to me. So I was like, they have to tell you what they're going to do. And I was like, well, why? And then I read this. I was like, oh, okay, this actually makes sense. You know, and I just want to say, I'm not going to mention who, but there was somebody who actually did talk about symbolism and that it would link them all together. We won't say who because I know it would get it pulled.
Oh, just yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, absolutely. That's so important because look at all the entries that were done in the Matrix, as Joe said, all these entries where they had to put it in plain sight. Me as the author, would I ever see it? No, unless somebody from the inside told me. So they brag about it, they tell us. But let me share screen if I will. Can I share screen with you real quick and show you this document?
Let me see if I can get that figured out again real quick.
All right. It should be pretty mind-blowing.
Screen share options.
Yeah. This is a great program. I'm loving this, you guys. You guys are just blowing me away.
Okay.
Blowing me away.
All participants.
Very free flow.
So
you got it. I see you. Okay, here we go.
Right.
Do you see the blue one? Look, blue and red, right? Blue and red. Okay, do you see the blue one?
Yeah.
Okay, look at this. Here's the EIF. It is the entertainment fund, right? Let's look at the history of the entertainment fund. This is what's helping to fund Maui. All right. We know the governor, right, changed the laws within a month before the hit, basically on Lahaina, the historic capital of Hawaii. And what happens is before that hit, the governor said that the zoning laws would change, as we said, so that they could rebuild any way they want, just in time for Oprah, Elon, and Tom Hanks, too, and Zucker. So here we have our history. Created in 1942 by Hollywood icons, Samuel Goldwyn, Humphrey Bogart, James Cagney, and the Warner Brothers. The Entertainment Industry Foundation has focused on some of the most pressing needs of our time, from the first grants directed to wartime agencies. It's just like, who stand up, everybody? Yeah, there you go. Such as the United Service Organizations and American Red Cross. Wow. American Red Cross, the ones that made what got the Pentagon and CIA and FBI's blessing to give the paperwork to the ex-Nazis to get out of Rome and go to South America as assets to them. Yeah. Go ahead.
Another interesting thing to note is that there's two organizations that have pretty much free reign in almost every country in the world to come and go.
Yeah.
The Vatican being one of them, and the American Red Cross being the second.
That's right. And look at the date on this. Very good, Lizzie. 1942, being put in place just in time to help the Nazis get out at the end of the war in 1945.
Yes.
So it was the Red Cross that gave them all their papers. It was the Vatican that gave them absolution. So it was like a little machine. You go right from Berchtesgaden down to Rome, and they have this church that gives you absolution. They have the book. They have the book where they all signed in. The Nazi commandants and everything, they all signed in. And they got absolution and rebaptized, new life. And the Red Cross gave them brand new paperwork. The Red Cross would not dare do that unless the Pentagon, CIA, and FBI said, go ahead and do it. We're telling you to. And there now the FBI and CIA is leaking the documents that show that Hitler was actually, yes, just like in the screenplay, he was alive and well. He went to Berchtesgaden, where he ordered his SS to be, and then his underground tunnels and everything. And then he left with Rome's blessing. Why did Rome do it? Why did the Vatican do it? We see in that documentary now, Hunting Hitler, with the CIA involved in making this documentary with their people, saying that, well, they're against communism and we got to stop communism, so we'll take the fascists. They're the worst enemy of communism. That's the Vatican's excuse. Now we've got wartime agencies, American Red Cross, utilizing the power of industry to help eradicate child polio. I give you Bill Gates. So now we got the war agencies. We've got the American Red Cross, who works for the Pentagon and the CIA. And we've got Bill Gates being funded. So definitely give to this wonderful EIF. Let's go on to our current efforts to raise funds and awareness for critical health. What the hell's that? Educational, okay, and social issues. Well, that's pretty broad. Well, the FDA just approved Neurolink. So there you go. Isn't this amazing? So when you give your money to these guys to help Maui, it goes to the rebuilding of Lahaina for Warner Brothers.
Which means they're stealing the land and building 15-minute cities and ejecting the natives from their ancestral homes. I mean, because let's be honest, this is their land.
Yes, yes, and getting rid of the children so sadly, so those that would inherit the rights are removed.
It is literally just tragic.
It's a blatant game. Yeah.
You know, you might be like, well, it's not, it was man-made, or it was, natural causes. It was man-made by a down power line, whatever, but go look at the aerial photos of what was burned. I'm not no expert by any means of this imagination. I don't know wildfires. I don't know. I'm not a fireman. That's not what I do. However, I will say I have never, ever known of a fire that'll burn at a 90-degree angle.
Exactly. And I've never seen where, oh, go Joe, sorry.
Or float over water to burn the boats in the harbor.
Or up in Lahaina, where I was 11 years performing and doing shows and writing shows and performing. Up in Upper Lahaina, that's where the houses end, right? That's where the development ends, up the mountain. And what you have is you have two burned cars around in the last of the residential areas. Two burned cars, like Lizzie said, 90-degree down, spot around it, burned, melted, engine melted, aluminum falling off, melted down a trail, just at one spot. How could a natural fire or a downed wire melt two cars in the center of a residential area?
Yeah, it's just and not touch anything else. And we're seeing houses. I mean, like, when we talk about burn, we're not talking about charred or burned down to the wood studs. It was burned to ash.
To ash. It's a surgical strike. And what happens is you have two cars on that hill away from up above Lahaina as the test shot. We know what it is. They test it first, and then they turn it on the main target, which is Lahaina.
And you see this burned to ash.
Yes.
You have no idea how hot that has to be.
And it's probably just coincidence that the mayor of Las Vegas, when that shooting went down, is now the mayor out there.
Or the chief of police.
Or chief of police, I'm sorry, yeah.
And was he responsive to the community? Was he concerned about their concerns? Well, no, he's going like,
yeah, I mean, the fact that they tried to barricade people in, the only people that survived were the ones that ignored the barricade and went through.
That's right. And they had a very difficult way to go. If you're out in Lahaina, there's two ways out. West and east, and that's it. You got one route out each way. Otherwise, you're stuck. It is a perfect kill zone.
Yeah.
Perfect bottleneck. Perfect bottleneck.
That's tragic.
It is tragic. And to tell people to go back,
to
tell them to go back. Or to tell people you can't go look for your children.
Yeah.
They're released early from school. Oh my God, it's like the school shooting in Texas, where the only woman, this one woman, ignored the police and went in and said, well, she said she's going to do it anyway. She went and saved her kid. And then now she's been haunted ever since by the police. What happened at Twin Towers? Yeah. And then they stalk her. So the Twin Towers, what are they told when they're coming down the steps of the second building? They're trying to get out. Would you want to get out? Go back up. Go back up to your offices. Go back up. Because they need a higher body count. And that's exactly what it is. And that's what the agencies told me. So when I was being groomed, how do I know? Groomed by the cabal. Have the card. Please extend every courtesy to Tom Malthouse, FBI. I was being groomed, so I was being told the information while I'm being groomed at CIA. Lauren Holmberg on Maui at the Masons, when he recruited me for the Masons, told me right point blank right away when he sat down, going, "We're fascinated by your story. You're going to have things that are going to blow your mind. You're one of the elite now. We're going to give you information that's going to make you just go, wow. But just don't try to make a difference, Tom." But yeah, then he throws in these things. 9/11, yeah, it was an operation. We did that, But the thing is, like, we can't believe the public actually believes the pancake theory. I mean, they fell for it, And he's telling me, he's including me as if I'm already in the circle of trust.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we're down to about 4 minutes now. So
that went fast.
No.
That went really fast. It felt like we were 5 minutes on the air.
I know. Right. I just I want to upgrade, but on the same end, I want to make sure that people watch these things, And
sure
when
thing,
we could seriously go for 3 hours, I think.
No, it's okay. It's all right. That's the way it should be.
It's short and sweet.
Yeah.
It's too soon.
Put a bow on it.
But that's okay. We look forward to the next one.
Yes, I'm gunning. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. This is great, Joe. This is great, Lizzie. Absolutely.
This is fantastic. But I mean, like, it's literally they tell us what they're gonna do.
They really, really do, especially when they want to groom you. Whenever they offer the chair, it's called offering the chair. They always tell you the same thing. You're one of the elite now. Your mind's going to be blown, and welcome to, you're going to have the best of life, and throw these perks at you. But they also tell you not try to make a difference. Don't try to make a difference. It's all this 1% mentality. Mm-hmm. So they fill you in what's going on. So here we are with all this knowledge, and it's so nice to share this, but also keeping it we're very upbeat, because that's how we feel. We love life, and we know a better world's coming. Well, in the meantime, we got to, go ahead.
It doesn't matter what the 1% does. It's the rest of us that matter, and I don't know about you guys, but I've met some pretty amazing people along this journey. And I'm not talking about, one or two or even a handful. I mean, I'm talking hundreds of people who I mean, like, they are, if not thousands, but these people, number one, they have good hearts. They're good people. They love their country. They love their fellow man. They have good aspirations for the future. And I don't care what the 1% does. What I care is what those other people do, because they're the ones that are going to end up shaping our future.
Right.
Absolutely right. Yeah. Go ahead,
it
Joe.
used to be the 1% versus the 4% trying to wake everybody up. And now I think that 4% is closer to 10%. Like, there's so many people that are waking up to reality, maybe even 20. Like, there's still plenty of people asleep for sure, but the people that actually know what's going on, doing their own research, trying to spread love and all that, it's just growing exponentially.
Yeah, you can go to any barbecue, basically, any barbecue in the Midwest or around, and you got this homegrown people that are just like solid. They're getting it. They're very practical in their approach to the information. They're just like, yes, what I see and hear. And you get this really amazing homespun wisdom. And so I think, like, yeah, we actually have this heartland of brilliance out there, simplified down to the core points, which the other side can't stand.
If you really want to see the contrast between today and then, okay, then you couldn't even put out a Trump flag.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You couldn't talk about these issues at all. And look what's happening today.
And you couldn't go in public without a mask.
Right.
People were terrified of even mentioning this stuff. And now we're having conversations in grocery stores and shopping centers and with friends and family.
Yeah,
so, absolutely right. Yeah,
I really woke up with Alex Jones way back in the day. Like, that's when I first started learning all this stuff. And look what they did to him. He was trying to spread truth, and they sued him for $1 billion or whatever.
And that happened right before I was supposed to appear on his show. There were negotiations going on. We were going to appear on the show. I won Florida Contact, and then he sprung it on him. They're very concerned about what we're talking about, guys, and it's like, and that's what we're allowed to do it now, because there's that no touch rule right now. Yeah. So we have a bridgeway. It's like, let's go back to Game of Thrones. The guy with the flaming sword. There's 3 of us with a flaming sword. I love your icon there.
We're about out of time. It's within seconds.
Right.
So let's wrap this up for this one. We'll meet again in maybe a week or 2, whatever we feel like, and we'll keep continuing this conversation, because it's a lot of fun, and it's always great to have you two on.
Love you guys.